Welcome to Native Talk Arizona, Native Health's Native American Cultural Affairs program, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy. And in the studio with us today is Dr. Thana Boyd. She is a registered dental hygienist at Native Health, and she's my dental hygienist, and she's awesome. And she's going to tell us a little bit about October and National Hygiene Month and why it's important to take care of your teeth. So, Dr. Boyd or Thana, welcome to Native Talk Arizona.
Thank you, Susan.
It is such a pleasure to have you back on. I so love you. I think you're just amazing. You have gentle hands, and I've known you a very long time. So tell me a little bit about yourself, your journey, how you ended up at Native Health, and how long you've been here, and all of that.
I went to school at UNM, and I graduated dental hygiene school in 2006. And then I actually went back to school again, and I got my master's in public health in 2012, and I ended up going back again, and I received my doctorate in health education, and I graduated in 2022.
And where in there? Okay, wait. So where's the dental hygienist part in there?
The dental hygienist part. The dental hygienist part in there is when I graduated from UNM in 2006. Yes.
Okay.
And after that, shortly after I graduated, I started a program in New Mexico. Did a sealant program, did a cleaning program, and went around to the elementary schools. And one of the schools one of the reservations was the San Felipe Pueblo Reservation. That's where I got a lot of my experience working in the school programs.
Okay, cool. And I know you're a member of the Navajo Nation, correct?
Yes, I am. I am a member of the Navajo Nation. Grew up on the reservation. I lived there my life until about 17, 18 years old. And then I moved to Albuquerque for another 10 years. And then I've been here in Phoenix since 2010.
What was that, 15 years?
15 years,
okay.
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, so let's talk about October's National Hygiene Month. And I don't know if you were the one that said it to me or somebody else that said, you really should only take care of the teeth that you want to keep. Is that sort of true?
There's a saying going that says, floss only the teeth you want to keep.
Okay. Okay. All right. And so I keep hearing different things about, well, I guess first I should ask you, what's dental hygiene? Does that encompass brushing your teeth, flossing, going to see you, going to see a dentist? What encompasses dental hygiene?
Okay. So why oral health matters to a dental hygienist and for the whole population is your mouth is a gateway to your body. Poor oral health can lead to serious health problems like heart disease, diabetes, and even complications during pregnancy. That's why keeping your teeth and gums healthy is more than just brushing. It's about protecting your overall health.
So it's pretty important.
Yes.
Now, does it matter, and this was what I was going to ask, does it really matter like what order I do it in? Does it matter if I floss first or last? Do you find that there's a benefit? Because I had always heard like you brush and then you floss. And then recently I heard somebody on the radio, a dentist, say, oh, no, you should floss first and then brush and do it backwards. Any preference with you?
For me, I like to brush first and then floss.
Okay.
So I just learned that my whole entire life, going to reservation schools, and that's how they taught us because we were taken to the dental clinics on the reservation. So that's how they taught us. So I've just kept that with me.
Okay. So is the water pick or the water flossers important?
Yes, especially if you have braces. It helps to clean the brackets better. And water flossers, they are really good. They just flush out around the gums and pockets.
And keep it clean.
And keep it clean,
okay.
Yes.
And how often should you go see a dentist or a dental hygienist?
So seeing a dentist, you should at least see them twice a year for an exam. And to get your teeth clean, it should also be twice a year. Sometimes you may have to see them more often than just twice a year, especially if you have periodontal disease. You may be put on a 3 to 4 month periodontal maintenance recall.
So if you end up building up a lot of tartar, and you know that's something that your body does, should you go more often? I mean, is that easier for you and easier for the patient?
Yes, I have some patients who come every 3 months. It's just because it's in their flora and their saliva. They tend to build up more calcium in the mouth.
It's like crazy. So in my family, I've got some kids, and they None of them have any cavities. And my husband has no cavities. None. And I don't think that's very common, right?
I
don't know.
I think it depends. I haven't had a cavity myself in years.
But I mean, they have none.
Yeah.
Like, don't have any. So common, most people have some cavities, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, you just got to make sure you're brushing twice a day and flossing at least once.
So Halloween's coming up. Any tips on healthy candy, not eating candy, limited candy, non-sticky candy?
Well, of course.
It's Halloween. It's just one day a year.
Yes, just one day a year. Some dentists have programs where they buy the bags of candy back and give the kids cash, but I don't know how many children are willing to give up their candy. I would say just limit the amount of candy children are eating. Of course, don't have them wake up and eat candy. And it's best if they should have some candy, just brush, even drink lots of water and just brush afterwards.
Okay. And so since we're almost out of time, a couple quick questions. One, again, October is National Dental Hygiene Month, so they should make an appointment to see either a dental hygienist and a dentist, right?
Yes, a dentist first, and then we do the cleanings afterwards.
So 2 appointments a year with the dentist and the dental hygienist. And then I know Native Health has beautiful dental equipment at Native Health Central, and I know we have a gorgeous facility at Native Health Mesa also.
Yes.
I know beautiful, brand new, state-of-the-art, and I know that we're getting dental equipment at Native Health Mesa soon, and so then we're going to be expanding services, same scope out there as well. Like, how many dental operatories are going out there?
I don't remember. I want to say maybe 4.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been so long since we've talked about the Mesa Dental Clinic, but we're looking forward for it to open hopefully soon.
That's going to be awesome. I think it's going to open by the new year, and
yes,
it's coming up. And for all our families in the East Valley or residents or listeners, it's going to be great. So, Dr. Boyd, Thana, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it, and it's always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you so much. If you have any questions or need help getting started, we're here for you at Native Health. Let's work together to keep your smile and your body healthy and strong.
And call 602-279-5262.
5262 and
Native
ask
Health.
for dental.
And ask for dental. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up next on Native Talk Arizona, we'll talk with Melina Acosta, Chief Prosecutor in the Pascoyaki Prosecutor's Office. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 8800 North 22nd Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. For more information, call 602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org. Native Talk Arizona returns after this song. You are listening to Reservation Road by Bill Miller.
I was holding on to my granddad's hand. He was pointing to the promised land that lay beyond the reservation road. He said, don't make a promise you won't keep. Don't betray the earth beneath your feet. And we walked on the reservation road. And just for that one moment, we were racing with the wind. And the sound of horses thundering, they echoed once again. back to a place where our hearts and souls belong. 1,000 dreams away from that reservation road. 1,000 dreams away from that reservation road. Soared into the sky, beyond the places where the eagles fly, and my tears fell on the reservation road. Now 100 moons have come and gone, and I'm holding on to a newborn son. One day we'll walk the reservation road, and just for that one moment we'll be racing with the wind, and the sound of horses thundering, they'll echo once again, back to a place where our hearts and souls belong. I'm 1,000 dreams away from that reservation road. 1,000 dreams away from my reservation road. Holding on to my granddad's hand, he was pointing to the promised land that lay beyond the reservation road. It went way beyond the reservation road. Have you ever walked on the reservation road? Let me take you down reservation road. Like to take some senators down the reservation road. Let me take you down the reservation road. Let me take you down the reservation road.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, Native Health's Native American Cultural Affairs program, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy. Malena Acosta is the Chief Prosecutor at the Pasquayaki Prosecutor's Office, who will be telling us about the upcoming third annual Awareness to Action Domestic Violence Conference in November. Hello, Malena, and welcome to Native Talk Arizona.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm super excited to learn more. I know that you all put on the best conferences. But before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, and what do you do at the Pasquayaki Prosecutor's Office?
Well, thanks again. I'm the Chief Prosecutor here for the Pasquayaki tribe. I've been here for about, 4.5 years. But before I came to be Chief Prosecutor, I spent about 18 years as a Deputy Prosecutor in Pima County for the state of Arizona. I prosecuted everything from simple misdemeanors to homicide cases. At the time I left, I was Operations Bureau Chief, and I was responsible for grand juries, charging unit, victim notification, disclosure, stuff like that. Since the time I've come to the Pasquayaki tribe, we amended our criminal code to now incorporate things like felony crimes and enhanced punishment. The Pasquayaki tribe was a pilot tribe for VAWA Violence Against Women Act jurisdiction, which basically returned jurisdiction to tribes to enable them to prosecute non-tribal defendants for crimes on the reservation. And what that means was, particularly for tribes that were facing huge problems with non-tribal offenders committing domestic violence against Native women, was that now we could prosecute those kinds of crimes here on the reservation. And so we've been doing that ever since, and it's really made a difference in those tribes that are able to enable that type of jurisdiction.
So let me ask you, let's go back to, and I know we're here to talk about the upcoming conference, but I do want to ask about the VAWA. So is that just specific tribes that can prosecute, or is it all tribes when that was enacted?
So when it was first enacted, there were 5 pilot tribes, and like I said, Pasquayaqui was one of them. And it's one of those situations where the federal government was like, okay, let's see if tribes can do this and ensure that defendants are able to have like due process. Like, do we have judges that are law trained? Are defendants, do they have defense attorneys? Are all those things maintained like they are in the state or, or federal systems? And we were able to demonstrate that, yeah, we can do that. And so President Biden back in 2022 expanded the jurisdiction. And now any tribe that wants to enact this additional jurisdiction through these additional crimes, now they can do that. They can adopt this enhanced jurisdiction that we have. You have to maintain certain rules, like you have to have, prosecutors that are trained, defense attorneys that are trained, judges, those kinds of things. But we're able to do that. And any tribe that seeks to do that, they are able to prosecute non-tribal offenders who commit these particular crimes on the reservation.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It helps, keep tribes. It helps keep tribal sovereignty. It helps tribes maintain control over what happens on the reservation.
I think it sounds like okay. That's excellent. All right. Well, okay. And then I know, didn't you just had the ICWA conference? Is that correct? I don't know if it was your department, but it was Pasquayaqui, correct?
Yes, it was through the Attorney General's office.
Okay. I know that was also very successful. It was a few weeks ago. But now we're going to talk about the upcoming 3rd Annual Awareness to Action Domestic Violence Conference. So what is this?
So we've been hosting this now through the prosecutor's office. And this year, we are holding this conference in collaboration with the Gila River Indian community, and we're having it at their V Kiva Resort and Casino. It's going to be held November 18th to the 20th of this year, and this is a free hybrid conference for professionals. So those are people who work with domestic violence victims and survivors, people like, prosecutors, law enforcement, or those who work with victims, such as counselors, or people who work in the court system. And it's hybrid because those who can't attend in person can still register and hear all the conference speakers through a platform which is called Huva, and they can see the presentations on Zoom. And the conference is free thanks to a grant we get from the Bureau of Indian Affairs.
Wow, that's awesome. We have like a domestic violence case manager, so definitely need to make sure that our staff know. Okay, so I assume that you have to pre-register, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're still in the process of coordinating like the agenda and the speakers, and we try to have a variety of people come in. We try to focus on not just like the expertise that we have here at Pasquayaqui and Gila River, but also occasionally we bring in some nationally known speakers as well.
So important. And I think if it's anything like the other conferences that you do and Gila River does, they always fill up and sell out, or
exactly.
no tickets left. Okay, so what's the focus of the conference?
Again, this is on professionals who work with victims and survivors, particularly in tribal communities. We call it awareness to action because first we educate those who are on the front lines, right, those who attend, and then we want those people to take what they've learned back to their communities. The hope is always to break that cycle of trauma, right, that cycle of domestic violence, to get survivors the care that they need and treatment for offenders. I think the goal for everyone attending is to have healthy communities.
So true. And then, so it's for anybody dealing or working in the domestic violence field and things like that. So, Milena, what's the impetus for planning this annual conference?
Well, working in this area that I'm working as a prosecutor, we saw a need for additional training for professionals who work in tribal communities, particularly here in Arizona. I mean, there are training conferences across the nation, and some, they can be costly to attend. We made the conference hybrid so we could reach more tribal communities, and that's one of the reasons we got a grant to ensure that the conference would be free. Last year, we had over 400 attendees from over 22 tribes. And because it was hybrid, we were able to have tribes from Alaska to Michigan to Oklahoma and to Maine. Some came in person, but many were online, because maybe they didn't have capacity to send people in person. And we had people from Federal Victim Services, local tribal resources, local counseling, from Tribal Law and Policy Institute, Invisible Tohono was there. Various healthcare representatives were there, like Charlie Care, United Healthcare, Banner Health, Casey Family. We had all these resources in one place, right, where representatives could ask questions and bring information back to their communities. There was also an opportunity for networking. We've done presentations on things like Family Resource Center. What does that look like in one tribe? And maybe another tribe sees that and is like, well, I want to bring something similar to my tribe. How can I do that? How can I get started? And just bringing those ideas of, networking and making connections and doing what we can to improve the communities where we work.
So I think for our listeners that are not familiar, and I know I'm throwing this in there, sorry. Do you have any statistics on domestic violence and tribal members, victims? It's super high, I know that.
Mm-hmm. It's actually egregious when you start digging down into it. It almost seems like this can't be happening in the United States, and yet it is. The homicide rate for Native women is twice that of non-Native women. For non-Native women, it's 2 per 100,000, and for Native women, it's twice that, so it's 4 per 100,000. More than 1/3 of Native women have experienced violence within the past year. 84% of Native women have experienced violence in their lifetime. That means from childhood on up. Over half have experienced sexual violence. 55% have experienced physical violence. 48% have experienced stalking. And 66% have experienced psychological aggression by intimate partners. The numbers are just through the roof of what's happening, to our Native women.
What's staggering and it's horrific. And, just that this goes on and I guess, when you're looking at like the Violence Against Women Act, the VAWA Act, and then this. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, at least you can prosecute, not that that helps, I guess. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So, all right, let's talk about the work that you do at the Pasquayaqui tribe. And how does it relate to the conference? And do you see a lot of domestic violence?
Yes, and I think that's really part of the reason we put this conference on. And our tribe, I'm sure, isn't very different from any other tribe. And the statistics, of course, bear that out. We see the effects of domestic violence here in the office. Not just the crime of domestic violence, but also the effects in the community, right? The children grow up in a domestic violence household, and you see them acting out. They commit criminal offenses themselves, or they use substances, and then you see generations of these kinds of behaviors, right? Maybe criminal activity. Maybe you see types of family crimes. Sometimes because of the activity, the children are removed, right, from CPS, which then results in kind of its own trauma, right? Removing children from the home, although it's necessary because, there's violence in the home, the children are in danger, but that's traumatizing. Children want to be with their families. And of course, it's better if children are in a healthy family home, but sometimes that's the only way to keep them safe. And you get kind of this repetitive behavior. And what we see here is, we arrested grandpa and we arrested the son and the grandson and so on and so on. And so we're hoping by breaking this generational trauma, by healing, by some of the things that we've learned at these conferences, that we'll stop. We'll stop seeing this cycle of abuse that results in additional crimes, that results in additional self-harm, that's like substance abuse, that's harming someone else, that results in more family crime and more domestic violence, from generation to generation. Again, that's one of the reasons we're like, we need to get the word out there of the latest counseling services that are available, the latest healing services that are available. We all know that, culture is healing. So what is the best way to get the message out there to those who work in criminal justice and counseling?
I mean, and you talk about the cycle of violence just continuing. So in your office, or do you have any ideas or tips or or suggestions for individuals dealing with domestic violence? Is the first thing, do they pick up the phone and call your office, or do they talk to a counselor? I mean, how do you start to get help?
So here at Pascua Yaqui, of course, we have victim services. We have a lot of additional behavioral health services available for tribal members, and I'm sure your listeners, wherever they live, have services available. Even if they live off the reservation, there are online resources. One of them is called thehotline.org for online resources. There's an 800 number, 800-799 SAFE or 7233 to get online resources. You know, many victims, they're not ready to leave, right? It's someone they love, someone they're in a relationship with, and it's not that, you know, those of us that aren't in those relationships, maybe we don't understand, well, why do they stay? You know, they should just leave if someone is treating them that way or violent toward them. But the truth is they love that person and they just want the abuse to stop. And maybe they just need a little bit of support. And, you know, I'm not going to go into the whole cycle of abuse thing, but there are hotlines and ways to keep someone safe, to keep that person, to have like a safety plan to keep themselves and their children safe. And there really are a lot of resources. Sometimes, and I'm going to say women because most of the time it's women, but sometimes it is men. There's shame associated with the abuse, so they don't want to turn to family. They don't want to turn to friends. You know, they cover up the bruises and the scars and those types of things because there is so much shame associated. So really reaching out to someone they don't know, like a hotline or a women's shelter or something like that, to get some support as they go through this until they can figure out the best course for them, sometimes is what can help them make those decisions they need, you know, in order to get better, in order to find a safe place and perhaps, you know, find a shelter and the resources they need to make the right decision, you know, and to leave when the time is right.
And I know, like here at Native Health, we do have somebody that helps with that when people are ready, making a safety plan, whatever it might be, whatever support they need. And I know that's true of a lot of agencies. So I know we don't have a lot of time left, but I wanted to find out, again, when is the conference?
Okay, the conference is in November, and it's November 18th through the 20th of 2025. It's like the week before Thanksgiving.
And the conference again, and it will be held at Gila River, you said, at Vicuiva, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And it's open to professionals, so it would be counselors, tribal leaders, prosecutors, and non-tribal as well?
Yes, we do have some folks coming in who, again, work with victims and survivors in this area.
Okay. So, Melina, you do such important work, and prosecutors are so important. Do you have anything that you think about often that has kind of touched you, either from a previous conference or any of the work that you do, that you really feel like, wow, this work makes such a difference?
Yes, actually, last year we often have survivors tell their stories, and this last time we had a mother tell her story, and she was just a mom, you know, with a GED, whose daughter was actually the victim of a homicide that was domestic violence related, and she took it upon herself to go back to school, and she started a nonprofit called Justice for Rosada, who was her daughter, and in her memory, she has since started work with the University of Arizona and started work with victims to kind of turn it around and highlight what happens and what to look for as parents when your children get caught up in something like this, and how to help other survivors. And something like that was just so touching to all the attendees of that conference. And that's something that definitely sticks with me, you know, as a parent, and it struck everyone at the conference as well.
And she went on to make a difference, you know, from a tragedy to making a change and a positive impact.
Absolutely, and everyone could feel it in the room when she told her story.
Well, I'm glad she's doing something good and out of something horrible that's happened, a tragedy.
Yeah.
So the conference is coming up. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners? Are you looking for sponsors? Do people need to register? Any last minute tips or suggestions or thoughts?
Oh yeah, we'll be opening up registration at the end of this month. If you want more information, we just have an email, awareness-to-action-conference at pasquayaki-nsn.gov. And we are looking for sponsors. You know, it costs a lot to put this thing together and to feed people and offer those types of things. And although the conference itself is free, there are some other costs associated with it. So please feel free to contact us or Rihanna De Jesus at 520-879-6257.
Okay, so one more question. So it's the 3rd Annual Awareness to Action Domestic Violence Conference. Again, the dates are?
November 18th through the 20th.
Okay, and it's at Vicuiva at Gila River. And we really, really appreciate you coming on. I think the work that you do is so important, and I know it's going to be another hugely successful conference.
Thank you so much. And again, I really appreciate you taking the time to have me on your show.
Up next, host Susan Levy chats with Michael Schaaf, photographer and owner of Schaaf Images. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 8800 North 22nd Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health's patient enrollment specialists can help you enroll, renew, or update your access information. This can be done in person, on the phone, or via Zoom. It's fast, easy, and can make a difference in keeping your health care coverage. For more information, call 602-285-9492. Native Talk Arizona returns after this song. You are listening to North Star by Layla June, featuring Quincy Davis.
Oh, my creator, helper of my soul, walk with me on this road, 'cause I can't do it on my own. No, I can't do this alone. These days I walk with an aching in my soul. With you all I know is, all I have to do is ask, and you'll show me the path. Yeah, all I have to do is ask, and you'll show me the path. When I don't got no strength, you lift me up, yeah. And when I can't find my way, you are my North Star, yeah. You the one who rushes in when I cry out to the sky. Step into the field, I can feel the wind. Help me see me through your eyes, so my broken wings can fly. Help me see me through your eyes, so my wings can fly.
Let me fly, ride in the wind I'm on, facing the storm. I know I'ma make it home. All I do is you help me follow the path. Remember the truth, calling us back. All I've been through to be ready for that. All I've been through to be right where I'm at. Living the proof, pick up these pieces, I'm broken and bruised. With infinite reasons, I'm grateful for you. Giving this life and each breath is anew. Finally, I see through the dark at night. Follow your light. Finally, I see myself through your eyes. Finally, I see I can change my life. Change my life. Finally, I see myself through your eyes.
My heart is amazed, but I know that I never walk alone. I know that I'm gonna find my way home. Still some days I want to escape the truth that eats me whole. But with your grace I know I can face it, 'cause you don't let me go.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, Native Health's Native American Cultural Affairs program, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy. On the phone with us today is Michael Schaff, photographer and the owner and operator of Schaff Images. Michael, welcome to Native Talk Arizona.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm super excited to learn more. I like photography. So before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey.
Oh boy, it's rather unique because to start off with, I was born before 1978, and I am one of the children who were adopted by a non-native family out of the tribes, out of the reservation. So I grew up completely, totally in urban Phoenix by the average Joe Schmo white family, if I may. And so that's been kind of cool because I've been able to get back to my lineage, go back to my tribe, meet my family, and they were very accepting of me. And it's been great. I had the best of both worlds.
And which tribe are you affiliated with?
I am White Mountain Apache.
Okay. All right. Aren't they having their fair this weekend?
I just heard they are. Yes. You know, my family's having a memorial for my sister-in-law this weekend, so I'll be traveling the opposite direction to Yuma, Arizona.
Oh, I'm sorry for your loss. All right. So tell me, how did you get started in photography?
You know, it was kind of funny. It was on my dad's, I think, third wife. That's kind of funny, but she had this really nice camera, and it was really big and really cool looking, and it was a Canon A1, which is a pretty nice camera back in the day. And I wanted to use it, and I wanted to play with it, and I wanted to touch it, and she wouldn't let me touch it unless I learned about it and learned about photography. And so I just picked up books, went to the library, and I started reading all about, you know, cameras and apertures and f-stops and shutter speeds and how it works. And so with that, I was able to, you know, tinker with your camera and take a few pictures here and there.
How long have you been doing? Oh, sorry. How long have you been doing photography?
Oh boy, I hate to say, but I would say since the low or early 80s.
So lots of experience. So that's has photography changed a lot in that period to now? Is it a lot more digital? I mean, I remember taking pictures with film and having to develop them and maybe getting one photo out of a roll, you know, that was maybe decent, and now it's a lot nicer. You can just hit delete. What's it like now compared to what it was like then?
It was nicer back then because, you know, because of digital and just mainstream digital, you know, just lots of people, everyone thinks they're a photographer now. You know, the camera takes a pretty good picture all by itself, and so they just buy a camera off the shelf, and all of a sudden they're professional photographers. Back earlier, you know, you have to shoot film and wait for it to be processed and see what your image looked like. You needed to be a master of your craft, and that's not the case now. You just got to be the master of the latest technology and the coolest apps you can buy to make you look great.
That's true. I didn't even think about the apps and the filters. So what kind of photography do you do? I was checking out your website and I saw mostly families and portraiture. Is that correct?
Yeah, I am definitely more a people photographer, whether it be like bands or quinceañeras, weddings, environmental portraiture. I definitely do a lot of people rather than environment, you know, the landscapes and architectural type photography.
What's your favorite kind of photography?
Oh, the highest paying job. Yeah, well, you know, this mostly really just whatever, you know, what gives me just as long as, I mean, I do mostly events, on-site printing events, and I really like it when the job goes well. Everyone is happy. Everyone gets great photos. The images look great. Lighting was particularly great that day. I just like a good gig. Any job that I do that has satisfied customers at the end, that really is what I like. art photography. I don't really do artsy type photography. I'm just doing portraiture, and that can be an art. That is an art in itself. But, a lot of times I'm not doing that. I am doing on-site printing, just ripping grins. But that's pretty much how I operate, I guess.
So I know I looked at some of your some of the work that you've done, and do you specialize in working with Indigenous communities or individuals?
Yeah, that's kind of a good question. I do specialize in it in a way that I'm one of very few natives around here in the Maricopa County area or Arizona area that do on-site printing, that do event printing, event photography. And that way I kind of specialize in it. But otherwise, I pretty much go wherever people want me to go. I've done some work for some businesses here in town, and they've taken me as far as Minnesota, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. And they were all non-native groups. So, I'm not specialized to one particular group of people. But I am kind of unique that I am a native doing on-site, printing and such.
But I know you've also done, you've been photographing Miss Indian Arizona, right? The scholarship pageant?
Oh, yes. It's crazy because, I'm coming up on like 24 years, I think, of shooting for Miss Indian Arizona. That's been very fun because 24 years ago, I was still shooting film. And film's ISO, the sensitivity rating of of the media, didn't go that high. So I was shooting film at maybe 1200 ISO, maybe 800 ISO, and I would have to actually use the studio lights. I have a light in the audience. I would have big studio flashes on either side of the stage that you couldn't see. It was kind of fun. And then I had rolls of film. I'd have like maybe a dozen rolls of film on me for the event. It's kind of funny. But yeah, it was crazy. And now with today's technology, our ISO, the sensitivity rating is so high, you really don't need a flash. And I can just bring my camera and myself to the event, and the Miss Indian Arizona event, and shoot it. It's great. It does make it easier, that's for sure.
Well, I think composition, though, you have to have a good eye. And I know you said a lot of people think they're photographers, and I look at some of the things, and I'm like, they don't quite have the eye for it. And I think you definitely need to have a skill set or have some kind of artistic eye to know what to shoot in your composition. But how's, since you said you've been shooting Miss Indian Arizona for 24 years, I attended a few years ago, and it's like an amazing event. Was one of the favorite things that I've done. How do you find, do you photograph each contestant, or is it just at the end when they crown, or how does that work?
Oh, that's kind of fun. I will photograph. Actually, we have a full dress rehearsal the night before. So I see everything on Friday night that they're going to do on Saturday, except for some of the entertainers. But I see them fully dressed, fully gowned. Usually, everything's head to toe is just like Saturday night. So I kind of get a lot of pictures then, but it's mostly just the girls, individual girls by themselves, doing each of their, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, like their talent, or?
Yeah, each of their talents, we'll say. And I get to see them, I shoot them, and I get good angles in. And then during Saturday night, I don't move around as much because the audience is there, and I don't want to be really too much in the audience eye at all. So I just kind of hit three places, from my camera's perspective, and then for the formal portraits, it used to be years ago, the newly Miss Crowned, would have to do a photo session with me the next morning, like at 6 a.m. in the morning, or anytime during the day the next morning, we would have to do their pictures. It was crazy because I was getting up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not a morning person, so it's not very much fun, but I got the job done. And it was kind of cool because I was shooting it with a film. It was so cool back then. I love film. I think I miss film.
Well, it sounds
But
like a
speaking
really
of the-
exciting job, though, and getting to meet the newly crowned Miss Indiana Arizona. And I can only imagine how excited they were to start their reign.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what an opportunity.
Yeah, it's been fun because, I hate to say, as I see them grow, they're young ladies then, and now some of the very first ones I photographed, of course, they're middle-aged ladies now. Yeah, it's great to watch them develop and mature, and yeah, just like, they were a friend back then, and they're kind of friends now still. Speaking of Miss Arizona, the scholarship's coming up too, October 11th.
Yep.
So make sure you guys buy your tickets now ahead of time.
That is the same day as our open house. And we always try to get Miss Indiana Arizona here, but we never can because they're also doing their dress rehearsal and getting ready for the pageant the same time as our open house. But every year it's the same thing. But it is, for those listeners that haven't been there, it's still at the Chandler Arts Center, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
It is quite an event. So, Michael, how long you said you've been doing photography since the 1980s. Do you have a favorite success story or memory with the photography?
No, I don't really know. I try to think of one. I did not think of one.
It's okay. It's
all
all right.
I read the notes.
It's
like,
okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
All right, then let me ask you.
I do.
Okay.
I'll create one. Okay. I was doing some headshot work for a company here in town, a local company. They were like a money type. They're almost like a bank or a franchisor. I think they were a mortgage company. Anyways, they're a private company here in Arizona, but then they had just decided about 2 years ago they wanted to become a public traded company on the NASDAQ. So they had me come in, redo all their headshots, which was really cool. And then the next week, my headshots were being shown on Times Square in New York City. So that big, huge billboard at the corner where everyone sees it on the corner there, my headshots, my images were all up on that thing. That was kind of cool to see that. I wasn't able to be there in person, but the staff there sent me a bunch of pictures of the billboard there.
I'd say that's pretty cool. I don't know. I don't have anything on the Times Square billboard, so I think that's pretty amazing.
Right? That was kind of neat.
And then which other indigenous groups do you work with? So do you do anything with ASU or any local people in town?
Yeah, I pretty much work with anybody who needs work. Today I just met my friend Troy. He's with the Veterans Autumn Veterans Committee. They do lots of work for the veterans, and so I do some work for them. I work a lot with Salt River Maricopa Indian community. I work a ton with them. I work with Phoenix Indian Center. They were great to work with. I've been doing a silver turquoise ball over the past 3 years, I think. I worked with National Center. I did Res for a couple years. That was super fun.
So Res is a big one, and Phoenix Indian Center Silver and Turquoise is huge.
Yeah. And I think how I met my wife, I shot some pictures for Native Community Health Organization. It used to be called NACHI, Native American Health Community.
Yep, that's us, Native Health.
Yeah, that's it. That's you guys.
Yep,
so
we've changed our names. So, yes. So it used to be NACHI and Native American Community Health Center, and now it's Native Health. But yes, that's us.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I remember when you guys were used to be on, I think, 3rd Street around Indian School.
Yep. Well, we're at Central and Indian School. All right. Well, we're pretty much out of time. So I wanted to find out, how can our listeners find more information about Schaff Images, and how can they contact you?
Well, you can always email me at schaff.mike@gmail.com, or hit my website, which is www.schaffimages.com, and that is spelled SCHAAF as in Frank. There's no dot. Let's redo that. they can hit my website at www.schaffimages.com. That's SCHAFIMAGES.com. And you can find me on Instagram and Facebook, both at Schaff Images.
Michael, it's been a pleasure to chat with you today, learn more about your photography. Hopefully see you at the Miss Indian Arizona and Silver and Turquoise Ball. So thanks for coming on.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been fun.
Thank you for listening to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and 90.7 FM KRDP. Our executive producer is Susan Levy. Sound engineer is Javier Quiroga. We hope you will tune in again next week. If you have any questions, please reach us at nativetalkaz@listen2krdp.com.